3-game weekend series. And hi, everyone. I'm Jim Hunter. And if there's one constant in baseball, it's that if you're going to win and win consistently, you need to pitch well and consistently well. And that all begins with the starters on the mound. Now, the Orioles are last in the American League in ERA, but on this homestand, their starters are turning it around. In fact, over the last 3 games, they have been spectacular. The Birds are on a 3-game winning streak, and look at the starters' numbers in this span. 2-0 with a no decision, but an ERA combined of 1.71. The next line, very important. Simone, Guthrie, and Tommy Hunter each have gone 7 innings over the starts in this stretch. It's been since May the 12th to the 14th that the Orioles have had a 3 consecutive start stretch in which the starters have all gone at least 7 innings. They've also been helped out by the offense. 6 Oriole home runs helping out over the last 3 games. And, Jim, it's been about the consistency. In fact, in this winning streak, the Orioles have trailed only twice. Once for an inning and once for half an inning. It's a different game when the starters give you a chance and you don't have to play catch-up.
Yeah, and then when you look at who they're beating, Tampa Bay comes in. Of course, they're in the wild card hunt, as is the Angels. And the Angels have the number 1 pitching staff. The best starters are Tampa Bay, so you beat them at their game. You hit the home runs off them. Now the Angels come in. Dan Herron, 15-game winner last night. He doesn't make a whole lot of mistakes, but when he does, hangs the slider to Mark Reynolds, gets off his 0 for 21. He hits a home run. So again, good starting pitching, timely hitting, and for the Orioles. And the irony, I guess, is they go up to Toronto. They go, before this homestand, they had gone 40 innings without hitting a home run, and now all of a sudden everything's changed, and the starting pitching has a lot to do with it. And
the other part of this, too, is where you play. And if your starters are giving you a chance to win day in and day out, it really doesn't matter where you play.
No, and, if we look at, again, the Angels, they're a much better record at home. They don't score as many runs, but then they give up less. On the road, again, they're only 1 game over because, again, there's only a 4-run differential. The Orioles, you can see right here, they're better at home because it's only, a 60-run differential. And on the road, the reason they've won so few games is because it goes almost up to 85 runs difference. And, again, I guess it begs the question. We talked about it in the pregame. When's Jim Johnson going to start? You need somebody that doesn't throw home runs here at Camden Yards. He's got the great sinker. But, again, tonight we're just going to have to take Zach Britton. He's a left-hander, and he throws a lot of ground balls, too.
All right, I got that formula. Score 1 more than them, and you got a chance to win it. Well, how about that? It's time for dinner at Camden Yards. Get on your batting helmet. Lineups at first pitch are next. Oh, the umpire behind home plate Brian O'Nora injured himself, and it appears to be his right leg. Did he get hit where? We'll have to see, and he is in need of some help here. It's Brian O'Nora, the home plate umpire. As Zach Britton was warming up, it got by Wieters and it hit off his leg.
Yeah, you have the metal shoes and then nothing to protect the ankle, and that's where it looked like it got. So again, probably it looked like a changeup that just bounced, but it's still well over 80 miles per hour. And then you're well padded. You can see the chest. You can see they have the metal shoes and all that kind of stuff. But again, just skipped under the glove of Matt Wieters. And just imagine, he's going to have to put pressure on that all night long. I can't imagine he's going to continue.
Ed Rapuano is the crew chief with his hand on the shoulder of Brian O'Nora. Laz Diaz is there as well. Alfonso Marquez is the other umpire on this crew. Richie Mansell's and the Angels trainer out there trying to assist Brian O'Nora is having a difficult time trying to get up and put pressure on him.
And the other factor is there are a lot of nerves that come out of your foot and run up your leg, and so again you can see the padding. It just got right between the shoe and then the shin guard. And whether he can put any pressure on it's a whole nother story.
It looks like he's going to try, but
yeah, there's no way. There's just no way that if you can't put pressure, I mean, to be crouching all night long, assuming the position you need to.
So he's going to go down into the Orioles training room, and he'll be looked over by Richie Mansell's and the Orioles team doctors. Orioles baseball on Masson is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. Well, here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, middle game of 3 as the Orioles looking to keep it going. They're looking for a 4th straight win. Tonight's game time temperature is brought to you by Train. Visit Train.com for an independent Train comfort specialist dealer near you. It's hard to stop a Train. 64 degrees, a slight breeze, and 66% humidity here. Cloudy skies downtown at Camden Yards. And we will have a delay now as it appears that Alfonso Marquez, who was the umpire at second base tonight, has gone back to the umpire's room to get on his umpiring equipment to call balls and strikes. There's Ed Rapuano talking with Mike Scioscia.
Yeah, you wear different equipment when you umpire behind home plate. All the pads and the heavier shoes and the shin, the inside protector. So he's going to have to go put that on. I don't know. I saw Laz Diaz also go underneath, but then again, there's only Ed Rapuano who umpired behind home plate last night. It's the only umpire left, and so there's going to be probably, and usually, and I've seen this happen before when somebody's gotten injured, probably 10 to 12 minutes.
And unfortunately, Zach Britton out on the mound. He was warmed up, ready to go, and now he's just standing there. And it is a cool night.
Well, he'll be able to allow himself to get enough work in just to get ready to start the game, whatever that'll be. And again, that's a feel thing. I also understand this is the first time this ever happened to Zach Britton. He's only 23, a rookie.
So Zach Britton getting loose, and umpires usually will squat behind the catcher just to get a look, and this was the pitch, and there's Zach's reaction. So Zach Britton will stay loose as we await the umpiring change, and we'll come back to Camden Yards after this. through Matt Wieters and hit Ryan O'Nora on the leg, so we're waiting the umpiring change. Southwest Airlines starting lineups for the Angels tonight. Meister Asturis, Peter Borges, and Howie Kendrick, with Torrey Hunter DHing tonight in the cleanup spot. In his career against the Orioles, a .294 average, 17 home runs, and 65 RBIs. Then Mark Trumbo at first with Vernon Wells in left. Mike Trout in right field tonight. Eric Ibar at short. And Bobby Wilson will catch. And there's one thing about this lineup that is unique. All 9 of those batters will come up against Zach Britton, batting from the right side.
And let's take a look at our tonight's scouting report on Zach Britton. Well, the new baby bird, when a couple of years before I got here in the middle 60s, you had 3 or 4 young guys, Pappas, Estrada, Jerry Walker, people like that, Jack Fisher. They were the baby birds. Again, Zach only 23. All right, as you mentioned, Jim. 9 right-handers for Mike Scioscia's Angels. And how do they do against left-handed starters? They have the 3rd best record in baseball, 31-23. Only the Yankees with 33 wins, and the Red Sox 31-21. And then safe at home, much better pitcher, a winning record, 5-4, ERA of 2.84. On the road, that ERA balloons to 6.39, and the difference is almost 3.5 runs a game. That's the largest difference of any pitcher in Major League Baseball from home and on the road. So we'll see if that makes a difference here tonight. And again, it takes a long time. I mean, I've seen this happen before, Jim. It's not like you just casually go in and just throw that armament on that umpires wear behind home plate. Take a look at our Nissan defense here at Camden Yards. Reimold, Angle, Adam Jones still with a right thumb problem. He'll be out of center field. Markakis in right field. Davis, Hardy, Andino. Mark Reynolds over at first. Matt Wieters, home runs now in 3 of the last 4 games. And Nissan's bottom line sales event, tremendous selections, great offers, bottom line savings. Visit choosenissan.com or your local Nissan dealer. So it's just a matter of really just getting out there, and you pretty much you don't have to do a lot of throwing now. It's almost like, again, you're going to come out from the bullpen. They tell you to warm up, and I really wouldn't have gone to the mound until whoever the home plate umpire is going to be. I mean, the rotation would be Laz Diaz, but again, it could be Marquez. We'll just see who it's going to be. Either way, it's obvious.
So Zach Britton out on the mound waiting, and of course this is just one of those unfortunate situations that occur, and you just have to get through it. Now, one thing Zach Britton, Jim, is hoping will happen, the Oriole hitters in this 3-game losing streak and on the homestand overall, they have been able to get the long ball, and when you pitch well, hold the other team down, those opportunistic home runs make a big difference.
Well, it really does. And you know, again, the Orioles they've been over 40% all year long. I think one of the only teams that scores more of their runs via the home run are the Yankees. And of course, they're one of the top run scoring teams in baseball. But the one thing we were talking about it before the game, he has not thrown a home run in 33 2/3 innings when you're talking about Zach Britton. So I assume even though Santana's lost his last 2 starts, he will have the edge there.
Well, you see Richie Bancells with Ed Rapuano there getting the update on Brian O'Nora's condition. I'm sure x-rays will be taken, and if need be, a trip to the hospital just to make sure that leg is okay. And if Dr. Wilkins is here, he's got good care downstairs. So we'll await the umpiring change. We're coming back to Camden Yards after this. Plate umpire Brian Onora was injured. As Hardy and Angle and Markakis chatting it up in shallow right center field as Zach Britton was getting loose. A ball bounced between Matt Wieder's glove and between his legs, and it hit Onora as he was just trying to get a look at Zach Britton. And it looked like a changeup, and it hit him either just right or just wrong, depending on the perspective.
Yeah, skidded right on the plate and then stayed down, and looked like it was going to be his last warm-up, too.
So there we go. That's Alfonso Marquez with the umpiring gear on for behind the plate. Laz Diaz helped him. So Laz Diaz and yeah, applause for the umpires as they got it together.
And then what they'll do is they'll do their umpiring like they do in spring training, where they usually only have 3 umpires. So they'll rotate, and you will not have a umpire at each base. And certainly we'll have one over first base to call those plays. But then again, you know, they're going to talk about what they do, because this is something that they do in spring training when they only have 3-man crews.
And if Onora is unable to go tomorrow, I'm sure Major League Baseball will get an umpire here to help out to get back to a full crew, because as Jim mentioned, Laz Diaz was scheduled to do the plate tomorrow, and he still will be in line to do that. Now, talk about Zach Britton, Jim, and this is one of the more unusual breakdowns of all the numbers you can look at. His ERA home versus road, when Camden Yards has the reputation of being a hitter's ballpark.
Well, he's a sinker baller. And again, we talk about, well, you know, would you ever want Jim Johnson, who's a sinker baller, to start? It's one of the reasons. You know, he sinks the ball here. Of course, you know, early on, because he did start out the season 4-1. You know, some of those games were here. They were, you know, he started at Tampa 1 in his major league debut, beat Texas here, beat Minnesota here, beat the Red Sox here, beat the White Sox on the road. So a lot of early success, and again, I think it just translates well. And again, he hadn't thrown a home run in the last 33 2/3 innings, and this is a pretty easy place we've seen over the last 3, 4, 5 games where to throw home runs. Short porches, hitter friendly, unless you sink the ball. And when he's on his game, and we'll see if that's the case tonight, he should have success here.
Yeah, and Britton better at home than even Trevor Cahill of Oakland, who gets to pitch in the Coliseum with all that foul ground. So we are finally ready to go here. 3 umpires, and we'll see if this delay affects Zach Britton. Here's Meiser Asturias, switch hitter, batting right, and it's high, 1-0. And there's a strike in the inside corner, 1-1.
Yeah, Zach coming off a game where Jeff Neiman beat him. Lost that game 5-2. It was 4-1 when he left. It's just a matter of not having great fastball command. And boy, we heard that just about every game that the Oriole young starters don't pitch well. Buck Showalter, the skipper, will say just lack a little fastball command. And
Asturias pops it foul out of play. The delay officially 14 minutes. And Alfonso Marquez now ready to go. And again, we'll monitor Zach Britton to see if it affects him here. Asturias to left field. Raimo back on it, still chasing it down, and he gets there on the warning track and has it for the out.
Yeah, there's a little bit of breeze here. That ball was really crushed, and of course, Meiser doesn't hit a lot of home runs, only 2. Last night we saw a collision early in the game. The number 2 hitter Kendrick hits one out here, angle, and caught it. Reimold took it in the nose, said his nose is feeling a lot better. Well, at least it's better than taking it on the chin. And there we go. Wayne Kirby, the first base coach, outfield instructor, saying, there you go. No confusion there.
Yeah, I think Angle just said, okay, Nolan, you're bigger, you take it. And a strike taken by Peter Borges.
Well, my point was, I think that, you know, again, it's very hard here at Camden Yards when you get swirling winds to figure out whether the ball is being winded. That ball looked like it got knocked down a little bit.
Well, Britton gets ahead 0-2. Borges in the number 2 spot tonight. He batted 8th last night. And it's high, a ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, his comfort zone when we talk about Zach Britton is into righties. He is still, as a lot of young pitchers, a lot of lefties have to learn. The little 2-seamer down on the way, the change up off that will get you a lot of easy outs.
And he gets Borges. So Britton with a strikeout and 2 outs here in the first inning.
Wow. You know, normally you would think he's going to struggle because just think about it. 14-minute delay, that's usually how long it takes to pitch the bottom of the first, and the ERA is over 6 runs a game. No problem so far.
Howie Kendrick now 2 outs and nobody on, and fouls it back.
Well, Mark Gubazov, a terrific pitcher, 20-game winner that does their television. He said, "Tell me about Britton." He said, "I heard he throws 93, 94. I said, "Well, you most likely will see that tonight." Not always. I mean, he'll sink it at 91. Changeup's about 87. And right there, 95. So again, it's not hot. It's not humid. This is perfect weather to pitch in. And it's not cold yet. Temperature, what, around 62, I think was the. And you can see right there, again, this is a team that hits lefties very well.
0-2 is outside. But with an all right-handed batting lineup, I understand what Mike Scioscia's doing. You know, the numbers, it's only 30 points, but I guess he thinks it's significant. And it's 2-2. But doesn't this also help Britton out? Because he can get into a groove, can he? Every hitter he's facing comes up the same way.
Yeah, I would think if he's going to be on his game, it would help a 23-year-old left-hander in his first year of the big league.
2-2 to Kendrick, well off the plate, ball 3.
But what he has to do, and I think that he will learn this because, again, you know, the inexperience factor comes into every start, even though this is what his 25th start, the 26th start of the year.
3-2 is fouled off.
He hasn't learned to back off a little bit. Mark Gubazov was talking, and again, a 20-game winner, and we all found this out, that sometimes Mike Flanagan used to always talk about it, subtracting and adding. You know, you add a little bit, you take a little bit off. And again, the BP fastball, you don't throw it as hard as you can. So right here, I think with Torrey Hunter on deck, and you know, you got a good staff. He's late on your fastball. You just continue to throw it because you don't want to walk anybody. He hadn't thrown a breaking ball yet.
Well, 3-2 on Kendrick, 2 outs, nobody on. Check swing, and he got him. It's a called strike 3 on the outside corner. So Kendrick down on strikes, and after the delay, Zach Britton has a 3-up, 3-down, top of the first. Angle, Hardy, and Markakis with Guerrero in the cleanup spot. Wieters batting 5th, and Chris Davis in the number 6 spot. 5 out of 20, including 3 home runs career against Irvin Santana. And Reynolds, Reimold, and Andino for the Orioles.
And our FCA scouting report. Well, July and fly. He was 3-8 coming into early July. He's again 8-3 since then. Stingy, again the lowest ERA of any major league pitcher since the All-Star break. A little bit under 2.5 runs a game at 248, and then loves a pitch on the road. 5-0 in his last 5 decisions after starting out 1-3. So again, his total road record 6-3 with an ERA of under 3.5 runs a game. And our scouting report tonight brought to you by AFCA. Visit AFCA.org, the Association for IT Pros.
So the 28-year-old already in his 7th season
Then it seems like he should be
35.
Yeah, well, not that he looks old or throws old, because he's got a real good arm.
So Matt Engel leading off again in center field. Adam Jones went for an MRI on that ailing thumb today, and what Matt Engel does is a little bit of everything. Plays the defense. He ran that ball down last night, didn't drop it. Then the bunt on the sacrifice, they just got him, and he can steal a base, and he can score from first on a double with the best of it.
And he steals bases. And another thing we talked about, Danny Herron, 26 stolen bases, only 5 caught stealing. So every time speed gets on, and Matt Engel, that's what he does, 27, 28 stolen bases just about every year in the minor leagues. So all of a sudden becomes a track meet. And again, it makes J.J. Hardy, who's such a terrific fastball hitter, most likely, if he starts throwing the slider and and the slow curve ball and the changeup to Hardy, which is the way you want to get him out, all of a sudden that leadoff walk's going to be a double.
J.J. Hardy now with Engel on at first, and the pitch is down and in, and Wilson out to the mound for a chat. Well, J.J. Hardy, a .340 career batting average against the Angels. Gathright, .359. He's now with the Red Sox. Adam Lind and then J.J. Hardy. Matt Wieters at .339 is 6th. So 2 hitters who love hitting against the Angels.
Yeah, last night runner on third, less than 2 outs, poked one to the right side with the infield back, got an RBI, and then 2-run double off of Danny Herron down into the corner.
And Santana misses high again, ball 2.
Well, just remember, he came in, and this is, I always talk about when you're on the road, you never want to come in. You want to come out of the bullpen. He sat on the bench. I bet he'd spent a half an hour since he warmed up. He didn't have the advantage that Zach Britton had.
There's a strike. Hardy takes all the way, and it's 2-1.
So again, a long time, and since he warmed up in the Angel bullpen.
Hardy 6 for 15 on the homestand with 3 RBIs. And Santana looks angle back to first.
Now, he can do whatever he wants, but again, he does not hold runners well. They pretty much steal at will. 26 out of 31 attempts.
It's kind of interesting when you look at the Angels as an organization and the influence Mike Scioscia has on controlling the running game, and how you better be a catcher who can control the game or you're not going to play for him. But the fact that he's got 2 pitchers, Herron and Santana, back to back, neither can hold runners. Angle doesn't go, and it's fouled back.
Yeah, Santana, when he gets into his stuff, and in other words, when he gets loose and whatever, he's going to get up to 93, 94. So 90, 91 in the middle of the plate and hitters counts. Got away with that one because, again, it was only 91. It was about bell high, but when he's pitching well, he does have a slider, does have a changeup, doesn't throw his curveball a whole lot of times, but he's got electric stuff.
2-2 on Hardy, and another throw to first, chasing Angle back. Angle 6 out of 7 in his steal attempts.
And when you get out there, again, there's so many signs from Mike Scioscia that you can see him. You usually look over your left shoulder. He's kind of looking over towards third base, and then, is he going to look? There it is.
Angle runs, and the pitch is fouled back. Hardy with 2 strikes, had to protect. Well, Santana is coming off a loss. He faced the Yankees last Sunday in the finale of that series. He lasted 6 innings, but he allowed 6 runs, 5 earned, and also allowed 2 home runs. And he's lost his last 2 starts despite pitching to an ERA of 3.75.
Yeah, well, he got to beat 2-1 up in Seattle.
Angle does not go, and the 2-2 is low, ball 3.
So all of a sudden, again, the difference between 2-2 and 3-2 huge, because you will start the runner. Even if JJ would swing through a pitch, very difficult to strike him out and throw him out with Engle's speed. And Wilson throws out about 27% of the runners that try to steal. But again, that number goes down when your guy on the mound is, again, 26 successful steals against 5 caught stealing.
3-2 the count on Hardy. Angle runs, and a swing and a miss, and he got him. Or is it a foul ball? I think he may have fouled it. Hardy wasn't sure, and he started to run, but Marquez said he fouled it.
I think because he thinks the ball might be in fair territory. That just barely gets that breaking ball. And see right there, he doesn't know. He's in the batter's box. Not sure if the ball hit him or not. If it does when you're in the box, it's a dead ball.
Jeep Exmo brought to you by the 2011 Jeep Compass. So another 3-2 pitch to Hardy. Angle is running. High fly ball, deep left field. Back it goes. There's Wells, and that ball is gone. Hardy hits it out to break the home run drought, and the Orioles grab a 2-0 lead.
And a lot of it has to do with obviously his ability to hit home runs, and he can hit them out anywhere. But again, angle, you're running, you're throwing over, he's distract you. Fastball in the middle of the plate, got to throw a strike. I want to walk the first two batters, and he's waiting. And again, this is such a great hitting ballpark. Hits it about, what, maybe 368 feet.
Real nice effort there by Vernon Wells.
Yeah. Well, three-time Gold Glover in center field. As we were talking, you got a very mobile outfield for the Angels, but again, they're not tall enough. I always wanted NBA guys out there. Swat them back. Help me out a little bit.
24th home run allowed by Santana. Wells tried to help him out, and he may have banged his wrist as he tried to propel himself upward to try to get that ball. And you see his right wrist was on top of the fence. 1-1 on Markakis. And it's down and in. So J.J. Hardy ends the drought. He had gone 63 consecutive at-bats without a home run. His last home run, August the 29th. And his 27th puts the Orioles on top. Markakis, high fly ball, shallow left center field. Here comes Borges. And the left fielder Wells calls, and he has it for the out, one away. Vladimir will bat now with one out and nobody on. And he is coming on at the end of the year, really consistent. In his career, he's a .329 hitter in September. This year, .411. Slugging percentage, the home runs are down, though, Jim. The RBIs are down, and the runs are down.
Well, that's the big question. You know, how are you hitting with a runner in the scoring position? You know, are you hitting home runs? And probably the bigger question for the Orioles as they tried to rebuild and compete with the Yankees and Tampa Bay and the Red Sox and even Toronto is, how does he match up to your other DHs?
Well, there's a base hit to center field, so Guerrero stays hot. He's now hitting 5 straight. And he's on with a one-out single.
I mean, I will never, ever criticize him because, I mean, this is a guy, a future Hall of Famer that's had a monstrous career. He plays the game with joyful abandonment like he's a kid. But your bat does slow down, and you don't hit as many home runs. I mean, you know, he hit 27 last year, most of them in the first half, and the Orioles thought that they would get a guy that maybe could duplicate the first half versus the second half. And they've got a guy that's, again, plays hard. He gives you everything he has. I mean, can you ask for anything more than that? You can't. That doesn't mean you wouldn't rather have a guy like Ortiz.
Right.
But again, I think you just have to look around. You know, hopefully if he wants to play, hopefully he'll find a place to do it. I just don't think it'll happen here. But again, you can't ever fault his going out there and being prepared. He's the first guy on the bench every day. I mean, he brings his glove. You know, he plays catch, takes balls in the outfield, doesn't play defense. But I mean, a marvelous player. And if you had a chance to see him play when he was young, he was just a special player.
Wieters takes low on the count to 3-0. Now, Matt Wieters, 12 home runs since the All-Star break. His previous career high in homers was 11. And look at that slugging percentage since the break. And there's a strike in the outside corner.
Yeah, you're just figuring at some point Matt's going to figure out how to get that average up a little bit. Of course, the one from the right side is so high this year, but get the left-handed average up. So, you know, get it up higher than it is. And all of a sudden, right there takes the perfect pitch. So now you see Santana, his fastball's coming back, but command's not there yet. Take a look at the Nissan Angel defense. Wells, Borges, and Trout. is Turris, Ibar, Kendrick, and Trumbo. Potential Rookie of the Year candidate with all those home runs, 27 of them, and Bobby Wilson doing the catching.
Mike Butcher is out for a first inning chat with Irvin Santana. All the infielders come in as well. Santana last won on September the 1st when he won at Seattle. That was his 11th win on the year. Now, we were talking in the opening tonight how well the Orioles have pitched their starters over the last 3 games in which they have won. They've won 3 in a row. And you look at this Angels rotation. Dan Herron is 5th in the league in innings pitched. Jared Weaver is 6th. And Irvin Santana is 7th. So you got 3 guys in the rotation that at a minimum get you to that 7th inning.
Well, that's exactly why Tampa Bay, who beat the Red Sox today, is in the race. Best starting pitching in the American League, and right up there with them is the Angels.
Chris Davis takes low, and the Orioles being very patient here in the first inning.
Well, you're one swing away, and Chris Davis can provide this. And now that right shoulder seems to be healthy. He came over from the Rangers along with Tommy Hudner, who pitched and won last night, and then had the shoulder problem.
Looks over a strike.
And what I like about him here is that, of course, been doing all kinds of different drills. Rick Dempsey was talking about. He's got a kind of a loopy swing from time to time, and Jim Presley's trying to tighten it up. Of course, that sometimes the loop can be a trigger when you're hitting well. But they have him actually doing the toss drills where he stands behind him, and it's almost like it's coming from a backward angle, and he's of course hitting the ball towards the pitcher, and Jim's standing behind him, and you stay inside the ball. And he's got tremendous strength to left field, which will play well here at Camden Yards.
2-1 pitch hit deep to left field, chasing Wells. He's got a play, and he has it for the out, and the runners will have to quickly retreat. Vladimir was already down almost to third base. So the second out in the inning, and here's Mark Reynolds. First home run in 9 games last night. It also was number 33. He is 4th in the American League in home runs with those 33, and he hit it off his former Arizona Diamondback teammate Dan Herron.
It's one of the first mistakes, in fact the only long ball mistake that Dan Herron made, just a high slider. I just thought the Orioles made a great and happy birthday to Dan Herron. He turns 31 today. And of course, the Orioles didn't give him a birthday present last night because he said it was very frustrating. You know, to be in this position where you're in the wild card race and not be able to pitch it as well as you'd like. I kind of know how that feels. It's not like cruise control where you just push a button and when you see some snow coming down.
0-1 on Reynolds. And he swings through it 0-2. Listening to the national radio broadcast, the Major League Baseball channel, they're talking quite a bit about the Orioles, that the teams in the race are fortunate to have the Orioles left on their schedule because they're a last place team. Well, Tampa Bay lost 2 out of 3. The Angels lost last night and trail tonight. You still have to go out and beat them. High fly ball left field. Did he get enough? Vernon Wells back on it in the corner, and that ball is gone. It's a 2-home run inning and a 5-0 Oriole lead.
Well, there's Mark Reynolds' power. He hit it with one hand. I know this feeling too. Willie Horton used to do it. Jim Rice, guys that have tremendous strength, and he's right up there in that category. I mean, watch this. It's a slider down and away. I mean, maybe a little bit of the plate, but watch him go out there and flick it. You can see the right hand come off the bat. And again, he is so strong. He gets the ball in the air with the best of them when he makes contact. So there you go. 2-runner, 3-runner.
34th home run for Mark Reynolds. And Reimold takes high 1-0.
I don't think any of the teams that came in here, I know, you know, in talking to Joe Madden, he certainly didn't take the Orioles and the Rays lightly. You know, Mike Scioscia didn't. I talked to him yesterday. It's just if you get the Orioles when they pitch well, which has happened lately. I mean, it started really in New York, where they won those 2 5-4 games in back-to-back days, one up there and one here in a makeup game.
Oh, and Reimold is hit by a pitch.
Well, it is part of the game.
That is the 7th batter that
the thing that
Santana's hit.
I threw a lot of home runs, but I never threw at guys that hit home runs off me because that's usually my fault. I never understood that. I know some guys you can intimidate them and whatever, but it's not a good habit to get into when you throw a couple of home runs to drill a guy. Maybe that certainly can't read his intentions.
And a good non-reaction by Alfonso Marquez not to issue any warnings, because had he done that, that takes away the aggressiveness and our possible payback for Zach Britton.
And he loves to pitch inside the righties, and there's 9 of them tonight.
So a good job there by Marquez.
Yeah, well, a lot of umpires try to read your mind, but obviously Alfonso's not one of them, which is a good thing, as you mentioned.
Ball 1 to Robert Andino, the 9th batter, so the Orioles have batted around here in the first. And Rich Thompson now is getting loose. He's already thrown 34 pitches in this inning. There's a strike.
No, really 2 pitches. Fastball in the middle of the plate to Hardy after he walked Angle on 4. Guerrero kept it alive. He walked Wieters, and then just a slider too much of the plate to a guy that can hit home runs with the best of them.
And Andino with a base hit to right field. Reimold to second.
Well, don't think the Red Sox don't have advanced scouts here. And they're struggling enough. I mean, they're now, what, 4-12 in the month of September?
Yeah, Tampa Bay beat them again today, so the Rays are keeping the pressure on.
Well, it's great for baseball because, again, you have to play 162 games. And as good as the Red Sox have been, I mean, this is a team that started out 2-10. And Zach Britton says, more. Get me more. And I'm telling you right now, I keep talking about this. I learned my lesson. And in the All-Star game in '77, when they said be on the mound at 8:20, the game started almost 10 of 9. If you're going to pitch on the road and you have a 14-minute delay and you warm up and you're sitting on the bench for maybe 25-30 minutes, it does not help how you pitch in the first inning. You should always stay in the bullpen and come on in, because if your team has a big first inning, you get to throw more pitches.
Angle to center field. Borges has a play. And he will put it away for the out. But a huge inning for the Orioles. 10 men come to the plate. J.J. Hardy's 27th gave the Orioles a 2-0 lead. And Mark Reynolds followed his 34th, has put the Orioles up 5-0 after 1.
Game of adjustment, and even though Zach Britton is 3-1, there's your last start. The windup not over your head. Rick Adair, the pitching coach, saying, well, it's about alignment, it's about rhythm, it's about posture. Let's get a more athletic windup, and the velocity probably has been as good as we saw early in the season, hitting 95. So it's just a little more adjusted. Did it with Jake Arrieta. earlier in the year before the elbow surgery. So again, just trying to get a young pitcher to maybe change something to his betterment.
All right, and why does that matter? How does it help?
Well, that's your rhythm. You know, you get a little bit more. I mean, it's a very simple windup. It's what Scotty McGregor had, I had, Flanagan had, all the guys. Very few guys. Of course, Don Larson changed to a no windup, pitched the perfect game in the World Series. Did it just because he had struggled earlier. But again, I think it's just something to get something going, a little more energy. And it doesn't mean you're going to do it all the time, because obviously you do get runners on, unless he's going to throw a no-hitter tonight, maybe a perfect game. And then maybe that'll really be a story, won't it?
2-1 on Torrey Hunter. Mark Trumbo and Vernon Wells will follow. So another long delay for Britton as the Orioles were hitting. Center field, chasing angle. Backpedaling. And he's got it for the out, and one away here in the Angels' second. The Maryland Lottery's double play contestant of the game is Colleen Dwyer of Baltimore. For every double play the Orioles turn during the game, Colleen wins $1,000 from the Maryland Lottery. And now you can enter 2 great scratch-offs for a chance to win. To see how you can turn non-winning Amazing Eights or double play scratch-offs into cash or Amazing Orioles prizes, go to mdlottery.com/double play.
Well, almost 2-1 in ground balls to fly balls. So if anybody does get on, this is your guy if you want to win $1,000. We'll throw some double plays. Of course, this is not the guy you want to face. Well, maybe you do with a 5-0 lead, because Trumbo can hit some long home runs. Yet to do it against the Orioles this year.
He is 2 out of his last 11, batting at .254. He's got 128 base hits, and 56 of those are extra base hits.
Well, he strikes out a lot. And we were talking about it before the game. I mean, 109 strikeouts and only 25 walks. But again, this is his rookie year. Certainly glowing rookie for the year.
Well, he hit it a mile high. Hardy, the shortstop, is calling.
Get an idea right there which way the wind's blowing.
Well, let's get a look at our Hollywood Casinos league leaders. Groundouts per flyout in the American League, and Zach Britton 1.91. So nearly 2 ground balls for every fly ball. Our league leaders brought to you by Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races. Enjoy VIP seats and MVP eats every game at the all-new Skybox Sports Bar, only at Hollywood Casino at Charlestown Races. Here's Vernon Wells, and he takes a strike. You know, when you're with a major league team every day, you learn certain things from whoever happens to be the manager. And it dawned on me as I was getting my scorecard ready tonight. High fly ball right center field. Markakis back. Don't start a story with 2 men down. We'll get back to that as Markakis hauls it in for the out. And a 3-out inning for Zach Britton. Mid-second, 5-0 Oaks. And get your second room of flooring free. Call 877-241-LUNA. Doubles this month. Vladimir Guerrero with 6, trailing Miguel Cabrera, Jacoby Ellsbury, and Robinson Cano, and 3 others tied with Vladimir for 6 doubles in the month of September. So the Orioles, after sending 10 men to the plate in the bottom of the first, scoring 5 times, now come up in the second. Hardy, Markakis, and Guerrero. And Santana misses high, 1-0. Zach Britton trying to stay warm on the bench. Hardy homer for the first time in the month of September. 2-run shot. And pops this one up. Meiser Asturias coming in from third, now in foul ground. And he's got it for the out, and one away here in the second inning. Fans, visit Orioles.com now for your chance to enter the Orioles Fan Appreciation Celebration Sweepstakes, and you could win a trip to 2012 Orioles Spring Training, a spot in the team's Dream Week in Sarasota, Florida, or a VIP suite experience for a game at Oriole Park next season. The winners will be chosen on Wednesday, so enter today at Orioles.com. There's Nick Markakis.
Yeah, they only get a little under 4 runs a game for Irvin Santana, 3.92. So got to put that out of your mind and just figure I better shut the door here and pitch into the, as you mentioned, 30-plus pitches in the first inning. Somehow get them, forget, you can't, even if you're down 5-0, get away from the process, and the process is one hit at a time. You already got Hardy out. And now you work on Markakis. You get out of this inning. You hope that maybe the Angels, your team, can get back in the game somewhat in 1 or 2 runs, and all of a sudden it's anybody's game.
Foul off the mask of Bobby Wilson, the catcher.
But I'm telling you, to come in from the bullpen and then have that long delay, it's just not necessary. There is no reason to leave the bullpen. That's one of the luxuries you have of pitching on the road.
Check swing, peel to third. He went too far. Ed Rapuano said so, and Bobby Wilson tags him out. So Markakis is 0 for 2, and that's the first strikeout for Santana.
Yeah, because the Santana you saw in the first inning is not the normal Santana. You could see how the bat travels through the zone. Marquez over to his crew chief, and they get the strikeout.
So Markakis is now 0 for 15 on the homestand with his 0 for 2 tonight. Here's Guerrero. Line drive to right center field, and Trout goes down to get it. The sinking line drive, and he caught it before it fell in for a base hit. Orioles go 3 up, 3 down. We'll head to the third. 5-0 O's. Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by Moneyball, starring Brad Pitt, in theaters September 23rd, rated PG-13. Here at Oriole Park at Camden Yards, and a little bit of a light rain here.
Yeah, it was a kind of misting, sprinkling on and off. Well, maybe not this heavy. off and on, at least in the urban area. I don't know out in the country what was doing.
Yeah,
Did you have snow? Do you have snow flurries today?
No, it's not that cold up there in the country. But it was raining on and off the entire drive in. But that was, 2:30. Here's Mike Trout leading off in the third. Ibar and Wilson will follow. And it's low 1-0.
Well, speed and power. Again, the minor league player of the year out of New Jersey, your home state.
And he takes a strike.
Great article of the scout that signed him, Greg Morehart, said, and he actually, minor league player, played with his father, never made it to the big leagues, Jeff Trout. And he said when he saw him play, he was kind of what they said about Manny Ramirez when it was Fred White. He said it reminded me of Clemente. And Greg Morehart said, this is the one. And he saw him when he was first 15 years old.
1-2 is just off the plate. And he's now 20. First round pick in 2009 out of Millville, New Jersey. And Burton gets him. Swings through strike 3 and 1 away.
Pretty firm stuff right there. Boy, the key. And the last game, the loss to Tampa Bay, Buck Showalter said just did not have good fastball command. When you throw strike 1 and you get ahead, you're going to get the hitters to expand the zone, and that's exactly what happened there.
And our Dodge Ram Expo brought to you by Ram Trucks, designed, tested, and proven to be the best trucks we've ever built. Ram. Here's Eric Ibar batting 8th, and he takes a strike. We showed you how proficient Zach Britton is in getting ground balls, and through 7 outs, he does not have one ground ball yet.
Yeah, well, he's, I think, certainly not being critical. I'm just, you come out and you had the delay. Looks like he's powering the ball by the hitters, and you can get away with that. I think as the game progresses, you'll back off a little bit. Maybe again use the changeup, the breaking ball, something. He's thrown a couple of them tonight, which he hadn't really needed them. There's a breaking ball that just misses low. But these are the counts, the 2-1 counts. As you get more experience, the difference between being good and average is, can you make a good quality pitch here in a hitter's count? And when he's on his game, he can. Like that. I mean, that's the perfect pitch at 94. And Ibar, Eric took it because he couldn't do much with it. But just because you get into those hitters' counts when you have the kind of arm that Zach Britton had doesn't mean you have to trick him. Use your fastball. Trust it.
Strike 3 call. Ibar knew it. He just walks away.
So a couple of 94-mile-per-hour heaters, one on the corner, one on the inside part of the plate. Well, look at Matt Wieters. Look at the glove. He doesn't quite get it inside, but it's probably about a 9-inch difference, and it freezes him. That's pitching.
So 8 in a row retired by Britton to begin the game. Here's Bobby Wilson. And the breaking ball is low, 1-0. Britton has 4 strikeouts in 2 2/3 innings. He's averaging just under 6 per game, and he's already got 4. And a liner foul the other way. A ball and a strike on Wilson.
Should have gone to this windup earlier. I'm saying that jokingly, but it's all about rhythm. And again, the good thing is he hasn't had to throw from the stretch yet. There is his pitching coach, Rick Adair, a former left-handed pitcher. Bonus kid with a power arm till he hurt it. And I was talking to him. I said, how hard did you throw? He said, well, mid-90s till it hurt my shoulder. And then I became a pitching coach. Well, that's how Cal Ripken Sr. started. Was a catcher, hurt his shoulder. Next thing you know, at 28 or 29, he was coaching me in A ball, and amongst a lot of other guys.
How'd that turn out?
It worked out pretty well. Well, Davey Leonard was 16-4 on that team, and in Aberdeen, and Mark Belanger was Rookie of the Year.
And a liner foul.
Blade hit .219 and was Rookie of the Year. Does that tell you how good a fielder he was in A ball? The one thing I didn't know, I knew Mark Belanger was a pretty good basketball player, but I ran into somebody earlier in the year, and they said, and he comes out of Springfield, Massachusetts. He said if actually Pittsfield, Massachusetts. He said if you were such a good basketball player that people would go to the JV games because you couldn't get a seat. One of the best basketball players in the state of Massachusetts.
Britton doesn't get that close pitch, so 3-2 on Wilson with 2 down. And a foul. I mentioned earlier, when you look at your scorecard, and this was one of those pet peeves when Mike Hargrove was the manager, he hated it when a team would come into town and there were more than 4 hitters in the lineup who were slumping at the same time, because he was a big law of averages guy, and that's exactly the lineup Mike Hargrove has out there tonight. But so far, Zach Britton is, or Mike Socha, so far Zach Britton is keeping them in check. But you got Wilson's batting 198. Trout is 0 for his last 12. Wells is 3 for his last 17. Trumbo's 2 for 13. Kendricks 4 for 16. And a bouncer, that is foul.
And then in their last 3 losses, they're 3 for 35 in runners in scoring position. And as Mike Socha said, I hope it's not a trend. I hope it's more trending towards what we've done the last 40 games, where they've had a number of guys that in the lineup, or maybe really when you look at the whole team, 9 or 10 guys swinging the bat pretty well. And there's your first base runner.
So a 2-out walk. Bobby Wilson down to first. Time for our minor league report, brought to you by PNC for the achiever in you. And congratulations to Orlando Gomez and the Frederick Keys. Last night, the 11-run inning held up as Frederick beat Kinston 11-3 to win the Mills Cup as the Carolina League champions. And Manny Machado, who homered in that rally, he got the MVP, a home run and 7 RBIs, batting .344. So congratulations to the Keys.
And here comes Matt Wieters. A well-advised little trip. First time from the stretch. Slow it down. If it's going to be rhythm, alignment, and posture, you get a different posture from the stretch. You have a different rhythm. And you've been over your head with a new windup, and now all of a sudden stay over the rubber and get the ball down. That's where he should be living, around the knees.
As Torres takes a strike, so 1-1.
Zach Britton is going to learn knee-high sinkers, expand the zone up and in when you establish a head.
And a high chopper. This is a tough play if it's fair, but it's foul.
Now just throw him a change up under the strike zone and let your hitters come out. So easy from up here, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Plus, your arm's never sore the next day.
No. Don't have to back up any of the bases. Don't have to back up batting practice. I don't know if they'll have batting practice tomorrow with a day game, but that's what you do the day after you pitch. You have to stand out there and try not to get hit with line drives behind that screen out in short center field.
Tommy Hunter was fielding ground balls at second base today. He's trying to stay active.
Tommy Hunter is big enough to do whatever he wants to do. And he's a judo champ.
2-2 is hit toward shortstop. Hardy plays the in-between hop. He flips to Andino. There's the force on Wilson. And the inning ends. So 2-out walk, 1 left, mid-third. 5-0 O's. Kids held their annual cardboard to leather collection. Volunteers at each gate accepted donations of new and gently used baseball and softball equipment for children in Central America, and monetary donations were accepted. And there's a silent auction going on. Memorabilia, current Oriole players, including Nick Markakis, Adam Jones, and Matt Wieters. For more on all the Orioles community efforts and to download the 2011 Orioles Reach annual report, visit OriolesReach.com. Wieters takes ball one. Davis and Reynolds will follow in the third. Orioles with a 5-run bottom of the first, maintaining that lead. Weekly hit towards the left side. Ibar throws on the run, and he got him. Nicely done, and Ibar fortunate it was the catcher running because he had a little extra time.
Yep. Well, every time I think of somebody that doesn't leg one out, I think of Brooks Robinson, who ends up in the Hall of Fame. But he never got a lot of leg hits. Of course, he would tell you, I'm running as hard as I can. I just don't get down there very quickly. And then he'd go over and make a spectacular play.
Here's Chris Davis. Late on that swing, 0-1. Since Andino singled in the first inning, Santana's retired 5 in a row. He got Angle for the final out of the first, 3 up, 3 down in the second. He gets Wieters leading off in the third.
And he's pitching like he's supposed to, or he's capable of.
And fouled off.
I'm really surprised when they had the umpire delay when Brian Honora was hurt that he didn't run back out to the bullpen. Either that or go underneath the stadium, except I think it's over on our side.
Yep.
Do some throwing.
Working with the 3-man crew as Davis goes down on strikes. Wilson smothered it and gets it to first for the second out. So 2 down and the second strikeout. Here's Mark Reynolds. What he did in the first inning, he went down and got it.
Yeah, single by Guerrero, walk to Wieters, and just a slider that not a horrible pitch, but again, Camden Yards. Not a home run in Anaheim, not a lot of ballparks, but here, strong enough and just able to get enough wood on it to carry out of here for the fifth, well, really third, fourth, and fifth runs. A dreaded 3-run home run.
First ball swing, pops it up foul. And he'll be back in the crowd. Well, that home run barrage continues for the Orioles. The other night when they beat the Rays 6-2, all 6 runs came in on home runs. Tonight, all 5 runs on home runs.
Yeah, Santana, I mean, he does throw some home runs, does lead this club with 23.
Oh, and that hit him on the helmet.
Well, they're going to go check him out for concussion-like symptoms, but you're going to see a warning now. I tell you, I don't like it.
That's 2, Jim.
Yep.
That's 2 in this game.
Well, you just can't throw at somebody's head. I mean, I know most pitchers aren't comfortable going in, and right here, Richie Mansell's Oriole head trainer saying, okay. I mean, look where the target is, and he misses by 2 feet. You can see Bobby Wilson right to help him.
I think Alfonso Marquez has issued a warning.
Yeah, no, he went out and pointed to both benches. He has. And again, it really is a disadvantage, and you watch him turn his head just a little. Right there, he sees it, and right in the side of the helmet.
There's you can't get inside somebody's head, but that's a little suspicious when that's 2 now.
Well, it's again, nobody. I don't think any. If you're getting hit around, which is not the case since the first inning, it's all right that the throw where he did to Raimo, but you can't. It's one of the unwritten rules. I mean, you can do it, but there will be consequences, and it may not be. It shouldn't be tonight, but it'll at some point. somebody's going to take one in the kneecap or whatever. There will be a message sent.
Right, you put your own teammates at risk.
Well, Earl Weaver, Mike Socia, he's caught long enough. And if you play on good teams, Earl used to talk about Earl Weaver. He'd run out if somebody threw at somebody and said, hey, is our third baseman better than theirs? And the answer was yes. And he'd go around the field. He said, I don't want anybody getting hurt. You can't get somebody out, own up to it. Doesn't mean you can't pitch in, but not at the head. It's a no-no.
Breaking ball for a strike to Reimold. Well, Reimold was the next batter after Reynolds' 3-run home run, and he was hit. And Reynolds, the 3-run home run, hit in this at-bat, and he stayed in the game. Breaking ball's down and in. So 8 batters now Santana's hit on the year.
Well, the thing is, Jim, to be honest, there are very few pitchers that are comfortable in the modern day pitching inside. Guys hang over the plate, they charge the mound, you get suspended, do a lot of stuff. So, most guys pitch away and they'll come in, they'll usually come in down around the kneecaps, get you off the plate, and then go away again. And you could see the target. He missed it by about 4.5, 5 feet. Matty Wilson's target was low and in.
Reimold, high fly ball, shallow right towards the line comes Trout. And he's got it for the out in fair territory. That ends the inning. So the hit batsman, Reynolds, appears to be okay. He stayed in the game. We're through 3, 5-0 O's. Broadband network. Oriole Park at Camden Yards as we head to the 4th, and another delay. Mark Reynolds stays in the game. It looked like Richie Bancells kept engaging him in conversation to hear the responses to make sure that there might not be any concussion symptoms there.
Nope. Well, yeah, that's, Richie, head of the Trainers Association for years, so he knows his stuff as well as anybody, and look for certain signs, and I'm sure he will keep monitoring him as the game goes on. And again, you have a lefty and a righty. Last night we had 2 right-handers, but they threw from opposite sides of the pitching rubber, so we had a little bit of mound repair back-to-back nights now.
Yes, so Zach Britton is just beginning his warm-up tosses as the grounds crew came out.
So again, Alfonso Marquez talking to the crew chief, and I think the question, again, the interpretation, you have a lefty that likes to pitch in. He doesn't throw at guys' heads. But again, maybe talking over the fact that, what kind of leeway, because you can hit somebody and not get tossed.
Right.
It just can't be blatantly, where you throw at his head or behind him or whatever. But, an important part of Zach Britton is to be able to pitch into righties, and there's 9 of them in the lineup tonight.
Well, the Orioles and Angels will wrap up this 3-game series tomorrow. It's a 1:35-day game, so gather up your family and friends and come on out and enjoy the final Sunday afternoon home game of 2011. And junior Oriole members, this is your final Dugout Club game for the year. So come on out and make one more Birdland memory. For your tickets, 888-848-BIRD, or just get online at Orioles.com. So Mark Reynolds appears to be okay.
He came up like a fighter. He just got knocked down. Well, nobody can say that he's not a gamer. I mean, very few things really upset him. You know, when he makes errors, he works a little bit harder. When he strikes out, just tries a little bit harder to make contact.
Well, and how impressive was that? The guy on the mound hits him in the head, and all he did was get up and try to go to first base. He didn't even look at the mound, didn't gesture at the mound, and as suspicious as that was from Irvin Santana, Reynolds did nothing. He just got up and went down to first base, hoping Reimel would knock him in, and it would be an earned run. A little low ball, 2-2 on Borges. Kendrick and Hunter will follow. The Angels have had one base runner, a walk to Bobby Wilson with 2 down in the 3rd.
And again, that's a young hitter chasing ball 3. They need base runners. I mean, they really have to. And of course, they don't work the count very. We were talking about 112 strikeouts by Peter Borges. You would think that he would be more of a contact hitter, even though this is only his 2nd year. And right there, just trying to make contact. Good pitch down and away again.
Borges struck out his first at bat, one of the 4 strikeouts for Britain.
181 at bats last year, barely over 200. So he's really made a big improvement. And then and we talked about it last night, anxious, probably the best zone rating of any center fielder in the American League as far as taking away runs.
3-2 on Borges, and he got him. And Wieters tags him out.
And again, just
swung at a ball.
Yeah, well, he did. And of course, 3-2. We've got a guy throwing 90 to 95 tonight. Got the new windup. Again, it looks like it's a strike. Great movement. One thing about Britton, when he's on his game and he's down in the zone, ball's running all over the place. And nicely knocked down by Matt Wieters.
Now Kendrick now. He was called out on strikes his first at bat, and that one down and in. And it's high ball 2. You know, the other aspect of Zach Britton with the warning now on, if he did want to retaliate for his teammate, you know he's going to wait till at least the 6th inning. Because you don't want to not get the win, but you also don't want to have the line drive right at Hardy. He's got it at 2 down. But you also don't want to have to go to your bullpen this early in the game, run the risk that Alfonso Marquez might say that was intentional. You're done.
Oh, no doubt about that right there. I mean, the Angels still looking for a hit, and Hardy takes care of that. Anytime I see a no-hitter going into the 4th inning with 2 outs, of course, in the old days, you say, oh, well, pitch count doesn't make any difference, but that's what the 62nd pitch. So, again, he averages about 15 pitches per inning. So again,
which would get you to 105 through 7.
If you had a no-hitter going, and maybe.
Well, let's see. At that average, he should be at 60 at the end of this inning. And he's at what, 64 now?
Yes.
So he's close. A little bit low, 2-1 on Torrey Hunter. He's walked 1. He struck out 5. And 3-1. Britton looking for his first win since September the 2nd. That's outside. There's a 2-out walk. Well, up, down, and up again. Tigers last night in Oakland clinched their first division title since 1987. Valverde was on the mound for the final out. Joe Mauer now with pneumonia likely ending his season. And Tampa Bay today beat the Red Sox 4-3. They cut that wild card deficit back down to 3 games. They have another game to go tomorrow, and then the Orioles head to Fenway for a 4-game series. And Trumbo fouls it back.
I think kind of looking at the schedule, I think the Rays have something like 6 or 7 games left for the Yankees.
Yeah, they go to New York from Boston.
Right. And I think the Yankees go to Tampa Bay, and of course with their pitching they can play with anybody. Well, the Angels like to get back in this game with 1 swing.
So the wild card, this is updated. Tampa Bay is 3 back. Angels 4.5. And they are 4 down in the loss column and trailing here 5-0.
Yeah, the team that snuck back into the National League is the Cardinals. They're only 3 back in the league because the Braves haven't played well.
0-2 on Trumbo, runner at first, 2 down. And it's high.
Of course, the Cardinals trailing tonight because they play the Phils tonight and tomorrow. And then they get the Mets, the Cubs, and the Astros. Those are their 3 remaining teams. And the Braves have the Mets, the Marlins, and then in Washington.
This is only the 2nd batter tonight that Britton has faced from the stretch. 1-2 the count on Trumbo. And a bouncer foul. Terry Hunter looking over at Dino Ebel as third base coach.
Yeah, he's one of the few Angels that does not run well. He's in at 36, 11 attempts, only been successful 4. Got a pretty big lead.
And Trumbo chases a pitch. He's down on strikes, and that ends the 4th. So 2 more strikeouts, 1 walk, and 1 left. Middle of the 4th, Orioles holding on to a 5-0 lead. Run shot, and Reynolds a 3-run home run, and he has since hit 2 batters. Reimold was the very next batter after the Reynolds home run, and then when Reynolds came up for his next at bat, he hit him in the head. And Reynolds telling Buck Showalter, I'm all right, and he has stayed in the game so far. So Santana goes to work in Andino as we go to the bottom of the 4th. High fly ball left field. Vernon Wells back on it. Still going back, and on the warning track, he's got it for the out. So Robert hit it well, but just short of hitting it out.
Yeah, that's why I think Jim Presley prefers the line drive to right. Hit it well. I mean, he's such a good fastball hitter. And When he gets one, he usually puts a good swing on it, which he did.
Matt Engel, for his third plate appearance, takes high.
I've been noticing when he first came up, maybe some bad routes on balls in the outfield, and I know that a lot of scouts, coaches, and will talk about the fact that it's a totally different environment when you come to the big leagues with the triple tiered ballparks, and being able to get better reads on balls. A lot of the park's not as big when you play in the minor leagues, and you could see just really over a couple of weeks being more comfortable going down and chasing balls. And much better jumps. That's why Buck Showalter pretty much wanted him here all year long, his ability to go in for defense, his ability to steal bases. And he seems a little bit more aggressive with the bat.
2-2 is outside, ball 3.
When you talk to young players that come out of the minor leagues, Jim, they tell you the game is just faster here.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Balls hit harder, pitchers have better stuff, and might that there's not hard throwers in the minors, just they don't command their stuff quite as well. And can't hit the breaking ball. You see a lot of breaking balls here.
So 3-2 on Engel, batting with 1 out, none on, bottom of the 4th. And it's high, ball 4, and he's on again. So the second time tonight he's drawn a walk, and that is the 3rd walk allowed by Santana. Well, season plan holders, be on the lookout for your copy of the 2011 Orioles Reach Annual Report. The report highlights the team's commitment to the community by detailing the many events and the initiatives supported by the club over the past year all across Birdland. Now, to download and view that report and find out any way the Orioles Reach can assist you in your cause, just get online, OriolesReach.com. Engel runs, pitch is taken, throw to second base, bounces, and Engel's got the bag.
Yep. Why wait? Again, doesn't even hesitate. I mean, straight steal, doesn't take a look. And again, there's your breaking ball, takes longer to get to the plate. My good friend Tim McCarver, who caught 4 decades, that ball just, you could see it stay down as Kendrick tried to catch it, maybe apply the tag. But Timmy used to always say, I never let the guy on first dictate what I called.
Broken back ground ball to short. Ibar charges. Gets it across to get Hardy for the 2nd out. Engel moves up to 3rd.
But again, if you're going to throw breaking balls with speed, and again, you're deliberate. Don't think the Vance at scouts that they don't know how deliberate he is or what his time is to home plate. And you can just draw it up. They time the catcher, how quickly he gets it down. If you're anything, if the catcher's over 2.1 and the pitcher's over 1.3, an average runner, and Engel's better than an average runner, can steal with a good lead. Those are the numbers they look at.
Here's Markakis with 2 down. Ball 1 outside. But flied out in the 1st, struck out in the 2nd. He's now 0 for 15 on the homestand. And the breaking ball, low ball 2. Engel at 3rd with 2 men down. The Orioles 5 runs on 4 hits, all in that 1st inning rally. They've had 2 base runners since the beginning of the 2nd. The Reynolds hit by a pitch and this walk to Engel. All 3.
Yeah, he took those pitches. If I was pitching and a guy took my breaking ball like that, I'm saying, boy, I think he's getting it. And how you take a pitch really tells you volumes when you're pitching. But to me, he was looking for it.
And an inside corner called strike. 3-1 on Nick.
And the luxury at 3-1, you can, for another strike, look soft or hard. Inside, outside, up, down, wherever you want to look.
And a chopper to second base. Kendrick waits on the hop. Markakis out, and that ends the 4th. So a walk, a stolen base, and a man left. We played 4 at Oriole Park. Hey, Boog, send over some lunch. 5-0 O's. Facebook, Twitter, and via mobile alerts. And tonight and tomorrow, fans here at Camden Yards receive opportunities to win exclusive Oriole prizes and experiences. So make sure you're following us at Facebook.com/MasonOrioles, Twitter.com/MasonOrioles, and text OSocial to 29292 for all the details. And there are the winners from today. And they got a meet and greet with the skipper, Buck Showalter, and that young man's name is Palmer, named after
his dad on the right there. We had a chance to meet him. And he was number 22. He's had a long time. Didn't have my name on the back of his uniform. I was a little disappointed. But he did have my number, and he said that's the reason he called his son. So certainly very complimentary.
Absolutely. And you were very gracious with the young man. I was proud of you.
Well, you
tried to make him
yelled at
smile.
me. You yelled at me.
He
didn't want to look at me. You yelled at me. Go, come on, meet Palmer.
It was because you didn't know you were leaving. You were coming up to do your work. I just thought it would be nice, and you handled it very well, as you always do.
I told him.
I mean, how often do you have somebody named after you?
Not too often.
Bouncer to short. And Wells is trying to run away. A couple of defensive changes. Chris Davis moves over to first. There he is from third. So Reynolds is out of the game, and Josh Bell is now in the game at first.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to do some precautionary examinations with Mark Reynolds. Certainly hope he's all right.
So I guess technically I could be named after you too, right? James.
How old are you?
52.
Yeah, you could have been. Yeah, but you're from New Jersey.
Right. For the New Jersey James.
You know, think about it.
Well, my dad was James, I'm James, and my oldest son is James. Ground ball towards the hole. Hardy, long throw across, won't get him.
Well,
with Trout speed, that's a base hit.
He gets down there under 4 seconds.
So the first base hit is an infield hit, and it comes with one down in the fifth. Mid-Atlantic Sports Report returns Monday, 5:30 on MASN. Amber Theo Harris, Phil Wood, Mel Antonin, and Dave Johnson will discuss all the hot topics from around the world of baseball with live look-ins at the ballpark, interviews, and more. Mid-Atlantic Sports Report, Monday, 5:30 on MASN. So the first hit in the game comes one out in the fifth and an infield hit. Here's Eric Ibar. High with a fastball is Britton 1-0.
Yeah, they've only attempted 10 steals off of Zach Britton, down 5-0. And you do not want to focus on the runner at first. Just try to get Eric Ibar out and take your chances.
And a bunt and a foul ball. Foul ball, says Marquez. It may have actually hit him in the batter's box, so that's a foul.
It did. Got that left leg.
Buck Showalter's up in the top step, almost as if he wants to know, did it hit him out of the batter's box?
Nope. Maybe the right foot out. No, got him. Yeah, both feet are actually inside that line. 198 base hits, 41 bunts, 157 infield hits. And that's out of what, 1,290 hits for the Angels. This is what they do. They are somehow trying to get back on the board. You know, get on the scoreboard. It was the toughest inning for a young pitcher, even an older pitcher.
And there's a base hit. Looped it in the right field. Trout will easily get to third as Markakis runs it down. So back-to-back singles in the fifth.
Yeah, I really can't do much about either of them. Ground ball in the hole. Trout runs too well, and then right there, tremendous approach by Eric Ibar. Just sliced it into right field. And what I was saying is, it's a tough inning. You look at the scoreboard. You have to pitch 5 innings and have the lead to qualify. So again, there's a tendency to forget the process of one hitter at a time, and that's what you need to get back to. And you have a double play prospect coming up now if you can make a pitch. Of course, the last time he walked him. You don't like to walk the 198 hitters. No disrespect to Bobby Wilson, but that is what he's hitting.
Well, he's at 80 pitches now as he works here in the fifth. Outside.
But when you talk to Zach Britton, and the one number that really jumps out is the runner in scoring position numbers at 366. And the league average is at 260, so that's 106 points higher. He says, boy, I want to get him out. Well, you got to try less sometimes. Try easier. And again, when you talk to him about your sinker, he said, usually it just sinks if I don't overthrow it. Well,
don't overthrow it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's hard sometimes until you get enough innings to be able to actually do that.
Two always foul back. Yeah, Buck Showalter was talking about that before the game today because of the inexperience of Zach reaching the big leagues at the age of 23. He said it used to be, if you talk to old-time scouts, they wanted 900 innings in the minor leagues before they'd even consider it. And, of course, Zach, third-round pick in 2006, in the big leagues at 23. Line to center field, chasing Angle. He's got it for the out. Trout will tag and score. Angels get on the board. It's a 5-1 game on the sac fly by Bobby Wilson.
Well, he worked the count into his favor, had a real good swing 2-0, and hit a rocket into center. And if you're lucky, you hit it up the gap, and they scored 2 runs. As Ibar can really run over at first. But again, when you get a 5-0 lead, which is now a 4-run lead, it's a run prevention. Stay away from the big inning.
Meister Isturis, the leadoff hitter. He has flied out and grounded out. Toss to first.
But again, the Angels are going to pretty much do what they want to do, even though the Orioles have a 12, 13-man bullpen, depending who you're counting. As they get the pitch count up now at 84, and sooner or later, by the 7th inning, you'll probably be in the Oriole bullpen.
Pop foul out of play.
And meanwhile, Santana hadn't given up a run since that 5-run first.
Well, Britton in the minor leagues, 555 innings, 109 games, 107 starts.
And they actually brought him along pretty slowly.
Yes. He's at 142 2/3 in the major leagues this year. Ground ball right back to Britton. He's got it. And he'll fire to first for the out. So the Angels get a run, but no more. 2 hits, 1 left. Mid-5th at Camden Yards, 5-1 O's. Tonight for Zach Britton, really has been in command. Just the 2 base hits, 1 an infield hit, and continuing the starting pitching is turning it on late.
We talked about it in the opening where you have now what, if he can get into the 7th inning, that'd be 4 straight games, 7 innings or more, and a nice little present 5-run inning, and then you just kind of go about your business. A little different windup to more rhythmic windup, and again, he's doing exactly what he's capable of doing. And then, Santana, of course, he's going to try to slam the door. And, the Orioles just have to try to add some runs if they can. And Santana pitching very well. Yeah, the Orioles haven't added since that first inning, but you get a 2-run home run followed by a 3-run home run. You're going to get a lot of runs on the board quickly. And here's Guerrero. Santana misses high, and it's 1-0. So Vladimir leading off. Wieters on deck. And it's outside, ball 2. Vladimir 1 out of 2, singled and scored in the first, lined out to the right fielder Trout.
in the second. And a tapper out in front of the plate. Wilson will get Guerrero one down.
Yeah, stay away from the high fastball he's hitting that. You know, the one thing I noticed, if you look at Vlad, again, when you get to be 36, the bat slows a little bit. It's just inherent part of the game. Happened to Yaz, happens to everybody. If you're a pitcher, you lose some velocity. It just looks to me that he trusts his swing a little bit more. Now, that was a good breaking ball, but you watch him take batting practice, he actually is waiting longer when a lot of older players will cheat. And again, just seems to be much more on a lot of pitches.
And there's Matt Wieters now. Did not swing on the appeal. Wieters has walked and scored, and he has grounded out. Well, Santana, without a doubt, has settled down. The Orioles don't even have a hit since that first inning. That ball's hit down the line. That is foul. Wieters hit it hard, but it hooked foul. Of course, we had the delay at the beginning of the game when Brian O'Nora was hit by a warm-up pitch of Zach Britton that got through the legs of Wieters, and he fell to the ground in tremendous pain and had to leave before the game even started. So the 14-minute delay as Alfonso Marquez had to get the equipment on. So all that time, Santana was sitting on the bench. So we're working with 3 umpires here tonight.
Yeah, so you have probably 5 to 7 minutes, then the 14 minutes, and then whatever the length of the first inning was. Britton did have a 1, 2, 3 inning, so it's probably over 20-some minutes came out and was not taking anything away from the Orioles, but he walked Angle on 4 straight pitches, 3 and 2. Hardy got a pitch, drove it into the seats, and then a 3-run home run by Reynolds.
Another hard line drive foul.
It's almost like Matt Wieters can see where Bobby Wilson's going. When he moves in, he starts to swing. Still think
he's got heavy feet.
Well, he could.
He's a big guy.
I mean, you want him to be more stealth-like. There he is, shifting in. And that time it's a curveball. Well, when Matt Wieters first came up, and he's got that high leg kick, it seems even more pronounced left-handed. I said to Terry Crowley, the king of swing, the Crow, I said, can you hit with a high leg swing? He said, most of the time you will see hitters' leg kick, it'll get a little bit shorter. Because you got to get the foot down. And it has to be down so you can recognize what the pitch is. And you have about 30 feet to do it, 4/10 of a second. I would imagine that'll be something as Matt matures and gets more experience.
3-2 is fouled off, protecting the outside corner. Well, I asked Matt today at the batting cage how many swings he thinks he has taken all year. When you count the cage, the work inside before they come out in the game, what, 10,000, 12,000? He said it's probably higher than that with all the swings they do to keep their swing good. That ball's hit to the gap in right center field. Borges won't get it, and that is down for a base hit and bounces against the wall. And Wieters will cruise to second base with a double.
A missile into right center field. Tremendous strength. Big guy, long arms. This ball is pretty much right down the middle. 94. There's your first hit since the first inning. No, even last night the Orioles, they got 10 hits, 2 home runs, 2 doubles. So tonight, a couple of home runs. The double right there by Matt Wieters. So the extra base hits. Nothing like that. That's the last thing that Santana. There's Rich Thompson out of Australia. Back up. Been a while. Warming up in the first inning.
Chris Davis with a chance for an RBI. And a tapper out in front of the mound. Santana throws to first to get Davis for the second out. So Wieters goes to third with 2 down. Time now for our AT&T mobility trivia fact. The Orioles and opponents have combined to hit 2.59 home runs per game at Camden Yards this season. The 3rd highest average in Camden Yards history, the highest coming in 1996.
Yeah, that was
Brady's 50 home run year, so that contributed.
But he only hit 19. You know, he hit 31 on the road that year. You think 50 home runs, this is a very hitter-friendly ballpark. You would have thought that he would have hit probably the majority here, but he actually hit 31 on the road. And right here, you're already down 5-1. He wasn't in the starting lineup, so how are we going to pitch to Josh Bell? Fastballs out of the zone, slow hooks. And this is just a
Bell hasn't had an at-bat in a week. He was 1 for 4 last Saturday at Toronto.
And speaking of Josh Bell, one of the many players that have worked out with Brady Anderson on fitness.
He's in Mark Reynolds' spot.
Yeah.
Reynolds, after being hit in the head with a pitch in the third, did play defense in the top of the fourth, but then did not go back on the field for the top of the fifth. So Bell is in his spot in the lineup. One 1-0 as Santana misses outside. And there's a strike. The Orioles have a 7-man bench. Bell the first off that bench tonight. Mike Scioscia's got a 10-man bench. They have quite a few call-ups on the bench. Some brought up just in case they needed a pinch runner.
Yep.
And last night when the game got out of hand, he made 7 defensive changes at once. You got him, you may as well use him. 2-1 line hard to Ibar, plays the short hop, and he gets it to first. So Bell hit it hard, but right to Ibar. A double a man left, 5-1 O's.
Steady. Hardy with a 2-run shot. 1st of September. A walk and a single. And Mark Reynolds' 34th home run of the year makes it 5-0. Zach Britton trying to protect it. Already 6 strikeouts. New windup. Overpowering stuff. There you go. 5 innings, a couple of hits. And J.J. Hardy, there you go. 26, 24 in back-to-back years with the Brewers, so the career high, and the Orioles still nursing, I guess you want to call it that 5-1 lead.
Zach had 6 strikeouts in his last win when he beat the Rays in Tampa on September the 2nd. He went 6 innings in that game. He allowed 2 runs on 4 hits and struck out 6. He has 6 Ks tonight to go with 1 or 2 walks and 2 singles. And Borges shows bunt and takes ball 1.
Yeah, and Josh Bell is playing him exactly the way you're supposed to. He's in on the grass and then coming in. And again, it puts a lot of pressure on your defense. That's what the bunt base hit will do. When he gets it down, I mean, you can't throw him out.
Slicing fly ball to right, long run for Markakis, and he gets there for the out.
So struggling offensively here, but it's still one of the best right fielders in baseball.
Caught that in fair territory.
Nothing like the ability to go get him.
That was good teamwork by the umpires there, because Laz Diaz at first. Nick disappeared by the garage door down there. And Ed Rapuano, who's at third, remember, one umpire short, he sprinted towards J.J. Hardy to get a better angle looking at that ball to make sure that Nick caught it and held on.
Well, again, they do this in spring training, and they talked about, again, I guess revisiting it because they probably haven't done it since. You know, maybe they had an injury or so, but there's Laz, who will be behind the plate tomorrow. Simone and Weaver. Jared Weeder is going to pitch with 3 days rest in between, so he'll pitch on a 4th day versus his 5th. That should be the 2nd time he's done that this year.
Yeah, and the other time he didn't pitch that well.
Well, he actually did. Mike Scioscia said, well, he was really good for 6. And then a lot of guys, you take 6.
Right.
And then he said he gave up about 5 consecutive hits in the 7th.
That was at Texas, right?
Yeah, well, yeah. It's easy.
That'll happen.
You could have your best stuff and do that at Texas. Or versus the Rangers.
1-2 on Kendrick, and it's low.
That's a way of pitching in, just a little breaking ball at the back foot, get the feet going. Howie Kendrick is such a good high ball hitter. And he loves the ball up in the zone.
Bounce towards Hardy at short. He'll backhand. And Kendrick retired for the 2nd out here in the 6th inning. Your favorite birds are back with their favorite dogs and cats. It's the 2012 Orioles Pet Calendar presented by Southwest Airlines. Pick up your 15-month calendar featuring all your favorite Orioles like Adam Jones, J.J. Hardy, Zach Britton, and the rest. Proceeds benefit Barks, the Baltimore Animal Rescue and Care Shelter. To get your 2012 calendar, 888-848-BIRD or online at Orioles.com.
Now, are those really bucks?
Yes.
Well, I know they're basset hounds. We thought they were bloodhounds looking for pitching. We got that out of the way a couple of months ago, so we know what kind of dog. But there really is dogs.
There is.
There's Adam Jones. I remember him. I said it's Jones yesterday. I said he goes, yeah, Phil. No. I said no, it's Adam, isn't it? They won't be missing a lot of games.
There's the hand, the thumb, and an MRI on that thumb today. Buck Showalter said before the game he fully expects Adam to play again this year.
Well, that gives you a definitive, where the information is. I mean, it wasn't broken. Got that out of the way 3, 4, 5 days ago. There's a pitch.
Well, Torrey Hunter down on strikes, and Britton has a real strong 3 up, 3 down inning. Mid-6th, 5-1 O's. Series finale. Alfredo Simon will be on the round against Jared Weaver. Our coverage on MASN HD begins at 1 o'clock with O's Extra presented by Verizon Wireless, followed by game coverage at 1:30. We've got all the access you need right here on MASN.
Well, there you go. I mean, Jared Weaver I know Justin Verlander, most people with 23 wins, 5 losses, the Cy Young candidate, but he's about as good as you can get.
High fly ball to left. And Reimold is out on 1 pitch in the 6th inning.
And then for Alfredo Simon, and under the guises of Buck Showalter, what have you done for me lately? He was terrific in his last start. So let's see if after he got roughed up by the Angels out in Anaheim, see if he can recapture his windup. And no doubt about the stuff. It's the command issue with him.
So 1 down in the Orioles 6th. Here's Andino. Fastball is high.
Yeah, it's not a good idea to have a bad inning, and that's what Santana did when you get a guy like Zach Britton on a roll like he is tonight.
Hard hit ball to right to Ibar. And 2 down here in the 6th inning. This date in baseball history, September the 17th. 1916, George Sisler outdueled Walter Johnson 1-0 in final pitching victory. 1968, Gaylord Perry no-hit the Cardinals. Cardinals no-hit Giants the next day. How about that? Take that. 2003, Roy Halladay pitches the 4th consecutive complete game in that 2003 season for Halladay. And there's Matt Engel on a bunt attempt. Picked up by the 3rd baseman, throw to first, and they got him. Nicely done by Meister Estouris, and the inning ends on the bunt attempt by Matt Engel. So 3 up, 3 down, we go. And we'll head to the 7th inning. Santana gets through 6th. Engel bunted it a bit too hard. Estouris a nice play to end the 6th inning. America's largest and most reliable wireless network. And our This Date in Baseball History was brought to you by Verizon Fios. Switch to Fios and network ahead to learn more. Visit Verizon.com/getFios. So, Jimmy, you hungry?
No, I just had one.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was wondering where you would.
There you go. New windup, better results. Game's still not over. Trying to do what the last 3 Orioles starters have done, pitch into the 7th inning, or through the 7th inning, or more.
2-0 on Trumbo leading off in the Angels 7th. Wells and Trout will follow. Ball 3.
Well, they need runners, and you have a 4-1, 4-run lead,
and there's a strike. Trumbo took all the way. Zach has walked 2. He's allowed 1 run on 2 hits, both singles. Pedro Strop now getting loose in the Oriole bullpen. Hard hit ball past the dive of Hardy. That's a base hit. Boy, that ball was smoked, and Hardy almost got to it.
Well, again, the ability to sink the ball a little bit, so instead of the home run, you get the line drive, and this is crushed. Needed his hit so hard. And you can see a terrific jump by J.J. Hardy. Just couldn't flag it down.
So Trumbo is on. That is the first time in this game the Angels get their leadoff man on, and we're in the 7th.
So he has not thrown a home run in now 39 2/3 innings. And that's what the Angels are looking for.
Hard hit ball to third. Bell has it, bobbles it. He'll have to take the sure out at first, and he does. But the bobble and the drop cost him a double play.
Yeah, that's part of it. Again, the ball is smoked. So another ball hit very hard on the ground. You want to you catch it right there. Right there. I mean, it just kind of gets it off to the side. Maybe the ball had a little tail to it because it was hit so crisp. And you can see, I mean, that's real time there. So you don't have much reaction.
He got what he wanted, the ground ball, and Bell couldn't make the play. So the runner at second with one down. And here's Mike Trout. And a strike on the outside corner, of course, by not getting the lead runner. Now a runner in scoring position. Trout, an infield hit for the Angels' first hit in the 5th inning.
Well, the one thing you do when you get into the late innings, you don't get ahead of yourself, but you start counting outs.
There's a bouncer towards second. Andino plays the hop. Trout is retired for the second out, and moving to third is Mark Trumbo. The Orioles have just announced Dream Week, January 30th through February 4th of 2012 in Sarasota, Florida. It's your chance to join the team and live the dream. All the Dream Week participants will join members of the 1992 Orioles on the field for a week of daily baseball drills, instruction, games, and more. Find out what it's like to be a major leaguer, your own personalized uniform, locker, clubhouse services, and even the chance to take the field at Oriole Park at Camden Yards next summer. For all the details, Orioles.com/Dream Week or 888-848-BIRD. Bounce to the third. Bell will get it across. Scoop by Davis. And that ends the inning. So a leadoff single and a man left. 7th inning stretch brought to you by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Honey. Fly straight. Drink responsibly. And it looks like that'll probably be all for Zach Britton, so it'll be a 4th consecutive start of 7 innings by an Orioles starter. And really got to be proud of Zach Britton. Looking for his first win since September the 2nd, knocked around a little bit, but what a learning experience this year and turning in one of his better performances of the year tonight.
Well, new windup, early lead. You know, again, when I saw what happened in the 5th inning, 5-0 lead, they get their only run. I think about what Scotty McGregor, when one of his things one year was to sit with Sidney Ponce during spring training and mentor him. And Sidney gets the bases loaded, nobody out. They get a sacrifice fly, throws a double play ball, comes in, throws his glove. And Scotty said, "What are you doing?" He said, "You just stayed out of the big inning." That's exactly what Zach Britton did in the 5th inning. Early lead, threw a lot of strikes tonight. Again, the windup really made a difference. It looks like, you know, he's probably the most athletic pitcher you have. And again, you know, we know he can hit. We know he can do a lot of things. So Rick Adair made a nice little tune-up with him. And, you know, there's the congratulations. He's trying to even his record at 10-10. And, again, that's a gigantic step forward.
So we go to the bottom of the 7th now, and J.J. Hardy will lead off. Santana stays in there, and there's a strike. Hardy, Markakis, Guerrero. High pop-up near the Oriole dugout. Trumbo coming over and reaches over the railing and makes the catch.
Yeah. Tremendous wingspan. Gets there very easily. Yeah, the best angle. Tough play for Bobby Wilson.
So 1 away. If you've been watching Santana pitch since the second inning, you wouldn't know or wouldn't believe that that could have happened to him in the first, because the Orioles have only 1 base hit since the second inning. And that was Wieder's double in the 5th. But the Orioles still have to be pretty upset at the fact that he hit Mark Reynolds in the head. Very suspicious pitch. He's hit 2 in this game, all following the home runs in the first. Nick 0 for 3.
Yeah, normally hit Santana well. That ball drilled but foul and came in 10 for 30 with 3 home runs. So he's had a nice little history with it. But again, this is what he's done. I mean, you know, we talked about no hitters. You know, he pitched one on the against Cleveland on the 27th of July. In fact, the tune-up was a game here in Baltimore where Mike Butcher, his pitching coach, said he just turned his shoulder a little bit more, changed his windup, kind of what Zach Britton tonight did, just a little bit different, maybe a little bit different load, and then pitched very well against the Orioles in the next game. The game against the Orioles was 7 2/3 innings, 3 runs or 3 hits for 1 run. He walked 1, and then the next game was a no-hitter.
Well, against the Orioles, he's 4 4 in his career, and he's 2 2 here at Camden Yards.
Yeah, they've hit him pretty well here. He's had some games where they've gotten to him early, as they did tonight.
Markakis to right field and deep, chasing Trout. And with his speed, he gets back on it. And 2 away here in the 7th inning. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Orioles and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. Well, the one positive for Santana and Mike Scioscia in this game is the fact that he's 1 out away from getting through 7 innings. So with the day game tomorrow, he did a real good job of saving that bullpen. Of course, they do have all the extras with the call-ups.
Yeah, pitch count at 103. And he does have 1 game against the Twins, 121 pitches, but usually, in fact, a couple of 121 pitch games, but usually 109, 110. So, but a couple of walks early on, which is unusual for him. Only 3 on the evening.
Yeah, the 2 walks in the first, both scored. Horacio Ramirez and Garrett Richards. Oh, Vladimir fooled by that pitch.
Well, good slider, and I think I don't know, maybe, I don't think they listen to the telecast, but if they do, you should have stayed in the bullpen and get some extra tosses after that delay or run out there. I mean, sometimes the most sensible things don't make sense, apparently. If you ever told anybody, what do you want your starting pitcher to sit around for 25 minutes before he goes out and pitches? You know what the answer would be.
Well, I would guess that if you elect to do that, that would have to become your routine on the road, right? Because how often does that happen where there's a delay? Not very often.
No, I'm not that. How about a big inning?
So a 3 up, 3 down inning, back to back, 3 up, 3 down. We'll head to the 8th, 5-1 O's.
97 tonight. I mean, throwing 95 early on, changed the windup a little bit over his head, more rhythmic. And you could see the Angels chasing pitches with great movement. There you go. So now the fourth straight pitcher for the Orioles, starting pitcher that at least 7 innings or more. And only 3 hits. Again, the 5th inning, one infield hit, and then the sacrifice fly.
And our State Highway Administration call to the bullpen. This call to the bullpen reminds you to be street smart. Always use crosswalks when walking, and when driving, be alert for pedestrians.
So Pedro comes on, and they get him in the Michael Gonzalez trade. I mean, he picked up on waivers after he clears waivers, but power arm. I mean, been able to throw strikes, quality strikes. Lefties are 0 for 9, righties are 2 for 8, so that's 2 for 17. Now again, when you get somebody that throws in the mid-90 with a good breaking ball, Callaspo is going to come in, pinch hit. He's going to get some hitters out and throw it over. Again, we saw him earlier in his career with the Rangers. Converted infielder that had a great arm, but sometimes control eluded him.
Callaspo is pinch hitting for Bobby Wilson, the catcher. And stroke misses low. Well, Pedro has been as good as you can be since joining the Orioles. Five appearances, 5 scoreless appearances.
And it's an easy 95. And by that I just mean, nice and fluid, and the ball just explodes out of his hand. And there's the breaking ball. So 95 outside corner, and then the swooper.
Swooper. 81.
Well, it's kind of like a slider slurve, somewhere in between there. As long as it gets good tilt and goes down, it can be effective. There's a splitter that misses. So he's got 3 pitches.
We'll have to come up with a name for that. Something clever.
What?
The slooper.
The swooper. Swoop. Swooping like an eagle.
2-2 is outside, ball 3. And Callaspo with a very patient at bat. He usually starts at third. And even though he's a switch hitter, Mike Scioscia.
Yeah, better hitter from this side, so that's why he, along with Bobby Abreu.
3-2 is fouled back.
Yeah, Abreu with the highest on base percentage of any of the Angels, but because his batting average is down, power numbers are down, which you will see him tomorrow against Alfredo Simon.
Another 3-2 pitch to Callaspo. And it's a little low, ball 4, so a leadoff walk as Callaspo hits the first. Time now for you to text in your vote for the AT&T Player of the Game, and here are the candidates. Zach Britton, 7 innings, just 1 run on 3 hits. J.J. Hardy, a 2-run home run in the first inning. Or Mark Reynolds, a 3-run home run in the first inning. Text in your vote now and have your voice heard, A, B, or C, to 51862.
So the Angels, the pitch count gets Zach Britton out of there, and as you mentioned, Callaspo just trying to get on. You got to figure, what do I do best? I kind of messed it around with me. Threw him 95-mile-per-hour fastball, splitters, slurves, swoops, whatever you want to call, and then eventually walks him.
Double play ball. Hardy. Andino. Davis. Kept his foot on. Nicely done by Davis. And a real good job by Callaspo there trying to upset Robert Andino. The Orioles turn 2. Our congratulations to Colleen Dwyer of Baltimore. She has won $1,000 from the Maryland Lottery double play contest.
And you could see J.J. Hardy, and that's the throw you talked about, Andino over to Chris Davis. But the J.J. Hardy make sure with a 4-1 lead, you get the lead runner. And as it turns out, the ball hit crisply enough that they can turn 2. Boy, that's what the good defensive players do.
Here's Peter Borges. And he kicks inside.
Now, did you notice the movement? I mean, that's the other thing. You can throw 95, 96, 94, whatever it is. But when you have late life, that's when you have a special arm. That ball ran about 6 to 8 inches. So as long as you can throw it over, it's a little unnecessary right there. I mean, I'd just try to knock the bat out of this guy's hands. especially when you have this kind of arm.
Borges is 0 for 3 on the night, and he has struck out twice. Inside, ball 3.
So there's an easy 99.
He's down in the count, 3-0.
Because at the end of the day, Pedro's going to have to figure out what he does best. And when you have the arm strength to throw 95 to 99 miles per hour, I got to think it's got to be your fastball. And right there, throw it for the middle of the plate. It's not going to go there. Not with that movement.
So 3-1 with 2 down, bases empty.
Wouldn't be surprised if he's taken here.
High fly ball to left, not that deep. Raimo charging in on it. He'll get there. And he's got it for the out. So Pedro Strop, a leadoff walk, but none left. Mid-8th at Camden Yards. Orioles with a 5-1 lead. Foundation. To date, the Orioles have drawn 416 walks for a total of $20,800. Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield encourages each of us to take that first step towards a healthier and more active lifestyle. Well, we go to the bottom of the 8th, and a pitching change. Here's Garrett Richards on for the Angels.
Yeah, another youngster got his major league start. I actually watched that game. Wasn't broadcasting that night. Did it in Yankee Stadium, and hard thrower. I mean, last year never got higher than Double-A. Actually, Rancho Cucamonga 4-1, Cedar Rapids 8-4. So, and then he ends up straining an abductor muscle, so he's out on the disabled list. So he's back, but 94, 93, but against the Yankees, and we know in Yankee Stadium, one of the best offensive teams in baseball, everything seemed to end up in the middle of the plate. They took advantage of it. But again, a young power arm.
And we've got a new catcher as well. Jeff Mathis comes in the game as Bobby Wilson was lifted for the pinch hitter. And Richards will go to work.
Yeah, they're saving Hank Conger for another pinch hit home run appearance.
Or a day game after a night game tomorrow.
Yeah. Or as they said in one of the Los Angeles papers, decorative runs.
Decorative.
Down 8-0 when he hit the 2-run shot last night.
Matt Wieters, Davis, and Bell here in the 8th. Fastball's high.
12-2 this year, down out of Double-A Arkansas with a real low ERA. 3.15.
So Irvin Santana goes 7 innings, 5 runs on 5 hits. Casava and Downs the lefty, Casava the righty.
Yeah, just in case, I still want to stay in this game, and Richards will fall behind Matt Wieters.
And Jim Johnson getting loose for the Orioles. To Wieters, Scores is high, ball 4. So Richards comes on in a 4-pitch walk as the Orioles now look for an insurance run. You can visit the official online shop of the Orioles at Orioles.com for the largest online selection of official caps, t-shirts, jerseys, collectibles, and more. And get ready for fall with the latest sweatshirts and outwear for the entire family. Go online today, browse the newest styles. You can shop 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Get your gear straight from the source, the Orioles.com shop. There's Chris Davis. And the breaking ball gets in there for a strike.
Yeah, one of the few high pitches that Alfonso Marquez came on for Brian Ornora when he was hit by a warm-up pitch before the game. And pretty much a very consistent low ball umpire tonight.
Foul the other way. 0-2 on Davis.
First round guy, Garrett Richards, the 2009 draft. But again, when Joel Pinheiro struggled, Richards is the guy they brought up, hoping that he would be able to start some games and be successful for the Angels.
And a foul ball. They had 6 first-round picks in that draft. And Trout was taken in that draft. Richards taken in that draft in the first round.
And there was actually a kid right before Mike Trout, I think the 24th pick.
Yep. Hard hit ball, base hit down the line. That's going to head all the way to the corner. Wieters will head to third. Davis heads to second. Trout bobbles it out there. Wieters being sent home by Willie Randolph, and he will score. So the Orioles get an add-on run and lead it 6-1.
Yeah, Mike Trout, a center fielder, so again, you don't get to play all the ballparks. Again, your first year in the big leagues, just a curve ball that doesn't really have much break to it. Over the bag, into the corner. Not a lot of speed at first. Don't need to hurry, but he does. Here comes Matt Wieters. He's thinking just get to third. He's going to shut it down. Well, right here he gets the come on because Trout misplays it. So an extra run. First one since the first inning for the Orioles.
Davis gets the double, no RBI. Wieters scores on an E9, second error on the year for Trout. Shaking his head out there.
Yeah, kind of a meandering breaking ball that Chris Davis was able to get to. It's another word for a hanger, but it wasn't really a hanger, just kind of to the bat head, down and in.
So what you're saying is that one didn't swoop?
No, it did not swoop.
Well, Josh Bell getting his second at bat. He took over for Mark Reynolds, who left the game an inning after being hit in the head with a pitch. Line drive right field. That'll fall, base hit. Trout has it. Davis will be held at third. He got a late jump. He wanted to make sure that ball would fall in. So this first and third, nobody out.
Yeah, nobody out. You're already in scoring position. Don't want to get doubled up. Wayne Kirby talking to Josh Bell. Nice little low fastball to hit. And that's kind of, you were seeing similar to what happened in Yankee Stadium when they brought Garrett Richards in for his major league debut. A lot of balls again back in the middle of the plate. Doesn't have a changeup that I've seen. Probably has one, but is not using it. So a youngster just rushed to the big leagues and struggling.
They got all those extra picks that year because they lost Francisco Rodriguez to the Mets and Mark Teixeira to the Yankees. Here's Reimold, first and third, nobody out. They did lose one first-round pick that year because they signed Brian Fuentes. It's pretty good to get that many picks that early.
Not as good as Tampa Bay had, what, 12 in the first 89 this year? There's the good breaking ball.
So a 6-1 game in the 8th. Runners on the corners, still nobody out. Reimold was hit by a pitch in the first inning. He has since flied out twice. And he got him. 3 consecutive breaking balls. Reimold swings through him.
And you can understand swinging at this one because the count's 0-2. But he swung at pitchers' pitches early in the count and pretty much puts himself in that position. And then Garrett Richards makes the perfect breaking ball. You just get the feeling sometimes that Nolan Reimold, the game plan, it's just maybe not there early on. And again, if he's going to be a regular player, that's what has to improve. Got to have an idea, at least till you get to 2 strikes. Hit on your terms. Not that hitting's easy, but it certainly makes it less difficult.
Here's Robert Andino. Davis at third, Bell at first, now with 1 out. And an outside corner called strike.
And when you swing at pitcher's pitch, when he's in trouble with runners at first and third, with nobody out, if you're Nolan Reimold, you play into his hand. He's in the jam. You can look for your pitch. What are you trying to do? Hit a fly ball? You don't usually swing at low and away sliders and do that. You waste an RBI opportunity.
And doesn't chase that breaking ball. 1-1.
And you can see what their game plan is. Reimold, a better fastball hitter. Doesn't mean he can't hit a breaking ball. Hit a curveball for a home run last night off of Chadwick. Andino, better fastball hitter. He's looking to get a ball in the air. At least he ought to be. This is what they work on all year, situational hitting. Man on third, less than 1 out. Get a ball you can hit. Well, you can't do it on that. That's a terrific pitch. Now you're going to have to scuffle.
This is where his ability to hit it the opposite way comes into play, because Kendrick is really shading towards the middle and double play depth.
Well, that's more difficult to do now that you have 2 strikes. Yeah, but again, you have to be able to understand that. And again, is that hundreds and hundreds of bats? That plays into it. But again, that's also talking to older players and watching how they. J.J. Hardy's a perfect example. Poked one to right field last night.
Tried to go to right field, fouled it off.
Well, he waited pretty well, and you could see Jeff Mathis say, hey, get the ball down. Not a very good pitch with 2 strikes for Garrett Richards.
Like Scioscia flashing signs to Mathis. Count 1-2 on Andino. Ground ball towards the middle. Kendrick. Ibar back to first for a double play. And Richards gets out of it without any further damage. But the Birds do get a run. We'll head to the 9th. The Orioles with a 6-1 lead. Online only at southwest.com. Saturday night at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. We'll head to the ninth inning, and Jim Johnson comes on to get the final 3 outs.
Well, again, the most innings pitched of any American League reliever comes in. You can see the save opportunities, but that's not ninth inning saves. 4 for his last 4. And again, it's not a save situation with a 6-1 lead, but you certainly want to win the game. When you gave me these numbers, over the last 10 games, the Oriole bullpen now has thrown 1 home run, 37, actually make it 36 innings pitched. 4 saves, ERA at 1.35 coming into tonight's game. And it kind of coincides. There he is, Scotty McGregor. He comes on 10 days ago. I'm calling him the bullpen whisperer.
The whisperer.
He must be whispering in their ear what to do. Talk to horses, talk to relief pitchers.
That's like the TV show, The Dog Whisperer.
No, that's right. But it's out. Didn't you see the movie, The Horse Whisperer?
No.
Jim, where have you been?
I was in New Jersey.
Filmed in New Jersey.
I was out of town.
You must go to the movies. I mean, that's probably 10, 12 years ago.
There's the 2-0 outside, 3-0 on Kendrick.
We better get Scotty to whisper to him. I don't walk anybody.
Kendrick, Hunter, and Trumbo in the ninth inning. Orioles once again up by 5. And it's a 4-pitch walk to begin the ninth inning. So Kendrick is on. Here's an update on the voting for the AT&T Player of the Game. And Zach Britton with his 7 strong innings in the lead. Hardy and Reynolds getting support. Still time to vote and have your voice heard. A, B, or C to 51862. Tom and Rick have the results coming up on those extra post game.
And Zach Britton will do his Josh Beckett imitation. Beckett winning a big game for the Red Sox last night. He said, they made the plays. They got the hits. All I did is make a couple of big pitches. And that's what Jimmy Johnson's going to try to do. It's an easy 96.
He last worked on Wednesday, and it was a 2-inning relief appearance to pick up a save. This is a non-save situation. His last 4 appearances, all scoreless appearances, were all save situations. High fly ball to right. Markakis is back on it. And near the wall, he reaches up and made the catch. And the throw back to first is not in time. Kendrick got back in. What a play by Markakis against the wall.
Well, Torrey Hunter ought to recognize this play because he's done it multiple times. What a play. And again, I don't know why they don't give him the gold glove. There's no better right fielder. He proves it right here. Doesn't matter. I mean, is he taking the fact he has not hitting well to the field? I don't think so. 2 outstanding plays in the late innings tonight.
And he almost got a double play. Kendrick had to hustle to get back.
Well, the awareness to make the play and then come right up throwing. Now Kendrick was almost at second base. Kind of makes you a little bit easier to pitch. I certainly know that with all the great defensive players I have behind me. You put it in play and then they do their job.
0-1 on Trumbo is 1 out of 3 on the night.
Jimmy Johnson looking for a ground ball that's catchable.
Oh, nasty breaking ball.
Well, that's why he has starter stuff. Now, can he close? Of course. Kevin Gregg has been struggling. I mean, Kevin Gregg pretty much doing what he's done every year he's ever closed, which is walk a lot of guys on base. Kind of a roller coaster ride.
And he gets Trumbo. So there's a strikeout in 2 away. Zach Britton and out away from this 10th win.
And he just throws the express right by him. I mean, look at the glove. And then just a riding fastball right by Mark Trumbo.
Well, here's Vernon Wells, runner at first and 2 down. They weren't holding Kendrick, so he takes off. It will not be a stolen base. But Showalter's team and out away from assuring they will have won this series from the Angels. Foul back this way, just below us. Just below us.
Well, you're looking at the monitor. The ball's kind of heading your way. You can tell. A vociferous crowd tonight, Jim.
I mean, they're loud?
Yes.
Here's the 1-1.
We can do our Bob. Right. We can do our Bob Uecker and Howard Cosell. Are you being truculent? And Uecker said, "You mean the truck I lent you, or the truck you lent me?" There are the loud people on their feet.
Well, 31,000 the attendance tonight, 31,099, and they're enjoying themselves. 1-2 the count on Vernon Wells. Runner at second and 2 down in the ninth. Line drive and a base hit to right center field. Kendrick will score. That one gets all the way to the wall. And Vernon Wells is thinking 3. He's on his way to third. And Dino's throw is not in time. Knocked down by Josh Bell. So it is a 2-out triple for Vernon Wells, and the Angels get a run.
Now Jim Johnson better down in the strike zone. You can see Wells just poke it into right field. He's always been a guy that likes the ball out over the plate. So the Royals are hoping it'll only be decorative runs again tonight. Last night they went into the ninth inning with an 8-0 lead. And tonight 6-1, now 6-2.
Here's Mike Trout, takes a strike. Orioles have outscored in the last 4 games Tampa Bay and the Angels 24-9. Foul off his foot, and that hurts.
No, that's the good sinker. And you can't hit anything but the top of the ball and right down on your foot. Boom, right in the shin. Yep. Well, that's kind of maybe a little bit lower where Brian O'Nora, the home plate umpire, who had to lead the game. And I'm just amazed at hitters. I mean, I did it once off Dean Chance, great Cy Young Award winner. I mean, right up there in the shin bone calf area, and he goes down. How players get up and run and function is beyond me.
Wells at third with 2 down, 0-2 the count on Mike Trout. Johnson trying to end it. And he struck him out. The ball gets away from Wieters. He'll pick it up and fire to first. And the Orioles have won the first 2 games in this series. And the Birds have now won 4 straight. And Zach Britton gets his 10th win on the year. He was outstanding for 7 innings, and the bullpen did the rest. Final score at Oriole Park. A big 5-run first got it done. The Orioles 6 and the Angels 2.